Hello, beautiful people. This is Tasia popping back in with another video. And today I'm going to be taking you through one of my everyday natural glam looks. Bear with me. I'm getting over a cold and my voice is a little shaky right now, but we're going to make it happen. So stay tuned and we're going to go ahead and jump into this look. Okay, so starting with a clean face. I always use my Dr. Jart BB Premium Beauty Balm. I usually do about 2 pumps of this one, and I love this just because of how effortless it is. Just very clean. I use a flattened beauty blender just to kind of press it into the skin. You never want to do a lot of like extreme tugging movements just because we don't want to age more than we need to, right? So get that all across the skin. Me personally, I've always loved using tinted moisturizers more than foundation, just because I like a little bit more of a natural look rather than having a little bit more of like a medium or full coverage foundation. But that's just me. So you want to get that all across the skin evenly. This one has an SPF 40, squalene for extra hydration, and a little bit of hyaluronic acid to tighten firm, which is never a bad idea, right? Me personally, I use all of my Sephora Pro brushes. This one is going to be the Pro 98. It's actually a highlighting brush, but I like to use it for a little bit of face powder. Since I don't have much brow hair, I always like to put a little bit of powder on my brows before I actually style them, just to make sure. I'm a little oily, so I want to make sure that the product isn't going to be going anywhere throughout the day. Using Anastasia Brow Wiz, one of my absolute go-tos. I'm using color dark brown. Naturally kind of just buffing out the brow a little bit. Brows, if anyone knows me, is my specialty. Whenever I'm filling in my brow, I can't multitask, but I always fill in the underline first. Right? I like to give myself a map. Map out your brow first. It helps to give you a little bit of direction, right? Gives you the shape that you need to follow. I'm a firm believer in making my brows twins, not sisters. I know it's the reverse way, but I'm OCD and that's just me. I don't have much of a tail end of my brow, so I have to go in and really kind of create that for myself, right? Okay, now that the base is done, I personally use 2 pencils for my brows. Oh, duh. This is the Huda Beauty. It is probably one of the finest point pencils or stencils that I've used before, and it mimics the appearance of microblading, which I love. Right? Nothing too crazy. Gotta be honest, normally I'm used to putting my makeup on in a mirror, but right now I'm using the camera. It's a little different, but I'm always up for a challenge. Beautiful. Effortless. Okay, brows are done. So now, this is actually not the Sephora Pro brush. This is actually just a flat lip brush that I always use. And I'm going in with my concealer. I use the Sephora Collection Make No Mistake concealer to highlight the arch of my underbrow. Give a little highlight. Perfect. Next, Baby Beauty Blender. Highlighted and ready to go. I'm gonna go back in with the same powder, and I apologize. I use the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. It's a staple. Anyone who knows, I love to go in and just add a little bit of powder under my eyes to make sure that the blend of the powder or the eyeshadow is just gonna work a little bit easier instead of having to really buff it out. Next, I go in, this is Jaclyn Hill, the Divine Neutrals from Morphe Palette. For my main shadow brush, this is gonna be the Sephora Collection Pro Powder 19. Just a regular fluffy brush. So I'm going in with Just Barely. I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to blending. I've got a slight hooded eye, a little bit more of an almond, but I have a lot of lid space, so it takes a lot of buffing up to my brow bone to kind of give the appearance that I actually don't have as much lid space as I do. Fun fact, I have an astigmatism in my right eye. So whenever I'm doing my left eye, I can hardly see what I'm doing. I feel like it's all just muscle memory at this point. My left eye can see a lot better, which is kind of strange, but it is what it is. Next one, I'm going in with the shade Good Vibes. I'm a big fan of a little bit more warmer tones just because I am a natural warm undertone. Neutrals are going to be like one of your best friends for more of your everyday looks. Beautiful. So when I want to start going in and adding a little bit more depth, I'm going to go in with a more condensed brush. This is Sephora Collection powder brush or shadow brush number 13. I'm not sure. Yeah, 13. So now I'm going to be going in with Boo Bear, going into those browns to add just a tiny bit of depth. Do the inner corner, outer corner, and outer corner. Then I will go back in. This one is Pro Brush number 27. A little bit more of the buffing brush, and I will go back in with Good Vibes to kind of blend it all out. Beautiful. Now the other side. Perfect. Okay, now that we got the top done, This is probably one of my favorite tricks. So this is actually a lip brush, Sephora Pro Brush number 85, right? This is an actual lip brush, but I love to use it for shading my under eye. I'm going back in with the same good vibes that I was using, but going underneath as well. I feel like this always adds a little bit more uniformity to the eye. Perfect. Okay. Effortless. So after that, I'm going to go in and kind of start cleaning up and going into complexion. This is another Sephora Pro highlight brush, and this is going to be brush number 98. But I like to go back in and kind of just get rid of any powder that might have spilled, anything major like that. Now I'm going to go in and contour. Me personally, I don't use a lot of concealer when I'm doing more of a natural look. To be honest, I'm going in with a little bit of my Sephora concealer. I'm a little bit more of a naturalist at heart, so I don't do like super big glam looks, right? That's just me though. And then I'm going back in with the same tinted moisturizer that I use, which is the Dr. Jart, and I will combine them. Pardon me. This winter, it's so dry. And I will just use a little bit under my eyes. But it's mainly just for cleanup purposes. Like, it's never going to be for anything too extravagant, to be honest. So after that, I'm going to be going in and doing my contour. So one of my favorites is going to be the Makeup by Mario. And this is going to be the Soft Sculpt Perfector. This one is fabulous because it's 2 different highlights and then a powdered bronzer to kind of give a very natural glow. You can see that my face looks a little bit more on the pale side just because of the concealer and the complexion. But you cocktail this one up. And this is when I go in to kind of start sculpting the face a little bit. Warming up the face as well. And helping to add a little bit more dimension. You can already tell that difference. Gotta love warmth, especially during the winter time. Me personally, I love to go down onto my jawbone just to kind of sculpt it out and add a little bit of warmth onto the neck as well. And I primarily focus on my cheekbones just because I have that super prominent line right there. Perfect. Love to see it. After that, we're going to go in with the blush. Oh, and I apologize. For the bronzer, my #1 favorite is going to be the Sephora Pro Foundation brush. This one is brush number 55. I just love how effortless the brush is, and it doesn't pack in a lot of color to make it overwhelming on the face. Next is going to be blush. I'm using the Sephora Pro blush brush, which is number 99. And of course, Rare Beauty, everyone knows how popular this one is, and I'm using the color Believe. This one, it seems overwhelming, right? So you can kind of see how intense that is. A lot of people are afraid to use this one, but to be honest, it blends beautifully. Beautifully. I use it on a lot of my clients as well. Like, look at that, right? It kind of just disappears and melts into the skin, which I love. I always make sure You want to take it onto the cheek, of course, but one of the best tricks that I love to use is taking the blush up onto the temple and sweeping it, kind of like that Nike swish, right? Just because it's going to help bring balance to the face, right? And I also use it on the outside brim of the nose and my cheek. Beautiful. Gotta love blush. Okay, done and done. Next, I always love to finish with a little bit more powder on the face using the same brush, number 98. I will take this, kind of soften up under the eyes. And if you ever feel like you applied something a little too aggressively and it's coming out a little too prominently on the face, you can always take finishing powder and use it to not only highlight, but to soften and give the appearance of a more filtered look, which I love. Kind of just soften things up a little bit. Right? Okay, now that we got the base of complexion done, for my personal natural looks, I don't use a lot of eyeliner or anything like that. So I'm gonna go in with my mascara. I use Too Faced Better Than Sex. I just love this one because, believe it or not, who knows, it might be better than sex, but it makes your lashes look amazing. All right, so I'm about to get up close and personal. Is anyone else extremely OCD about the way that they put on their mascara? I feel like I just put it on, but I could sit there and like brush it out like lash by lash, but it's an OCD thing, honestly, but you can already just tell the difference, really. I have extremely curly lashes, but it gives a great definition. I got a little bit on my eyelid, so whenever that happens, I'll just go back in with my brush. Kind of just buff it out. No need to make a fuss, right? So we've got that on. Next is going to be my lashes. So I hopped on the trend of using the half lashes to kind of give a little bit more of that classic siren eye, and I'm living for it. I honestly cannot remember where I got these lashes. It was just Amazon, you know, just some classics. Classic half lashes, right? I will make sure that I pin the exact brand because they're actually fabulous. It's very lightweight. The band is extremely thin, so it adheres to your lash line very easily. And my personal favorite whenever I'm doing my lashes is using the Duo glue. I like the clear one primarily because when it comes on the lash line, it's actually a really weird like pastel blue. Unless I'm wearing like a very extreme graphic liner or darker like smoky eye, then I'll use like a dark adhesive. But if it's like kind of for everyday, this is actually a perfect substitution just so you don't get black adhesive all over your eye, you know? But I'll just make sure I use these. You want to make sure that the glue gets a little tacky before you actually put it on, right? So love to see it. This is extremely off settling doing this in a camera instead of a mirror. I feel like it is throwing me off right now. But try new things every day. Beautiful. I love it. I used to do full lashes just to give like a very big open-eyed look, but I love half lashes, especially with no eyeliner. I've been trying that one lately, and I love that one too, just because it gives a little bit more of just kind of like your everyday kind of girl next door type vibe, you know? So I currently realized that I forgot my highlight that I use. So today I'm gonna be going in with the Luxe. And I'm gonna be kind of using that for the same thing. I love adding highlight on your Cupid's bow. And on the side of the lip. Pretty much wherever you want something to be highlighted. Okay, one of my all-time favorite tricks for a very natural everyday look is I do go in, this one's extremely old, forgive me, but this is one of the Sephora eyeliners. I'm pretty sure it's coconut, but it's just a nude or white tone. And you fill in the waterline. Helps to give a very kind of open eye, which I love. I use it whenever I'm working with bridal as well, right? So probably one of the last things that I do for my everyday look is adding in my lip. And this is going to be your Lip Glow from Dior, of course. I'm using the color Rosewood. One of my finishing touches whenever I'm doing my makeup, of course, and before I go out, is to make sure that I set myself with a little bit of perfume, which of course, Dior's Eau de Parfum. This one is probably one of my classics. I feel like a goddess whenever I wear it. So treat yourself, make yourself feel like the goddess that you are. So everyone, this is my everyday look. I hope that you enjoyed this. I will be leaving a description and all of the products down in the comments below. If you have any questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out. I am currently open for all of my bookings, so do not hesitate to reach out. I will also leave a link in the description box below for my Stylisty booking page. But I hope everyone enjoyed. Blessings to all.